Hey, what's going on guys? It's ETA Prime back here again. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the new Odroid Retro Arena 1.1 RetroPie build for the Odroid XU4. Now on the table here I have an Odroid XU4 with the stock fan, and I have an Odroid XU4Q. This RetroPie build will work with both of these. I've been testing it for the last few days, and I gotta say this is the best RetroPie build that I've ever tested for any Odroid board. One of the main complaints about the Raspberry Pi is the horrible N64 emulation. Now the Raspberry Pi is a very low-end single board computer. This guy here is actually an 8-core CPU, 4 of the cores do clock up to 2 GHz, and it has a really powerful 6-core GPU. All that's paired with 2 GB of DDR3 RAM, which makes this one of the fastest ARM-based single board computers for emulation to date. It is more expensive than the Raspberry Pi, but you get what you pay for. This is a really nice little board. The guys over at the Retro Arena have actually put a lot of work into this. This is version 1.1 of their Odroid Retro Arena RetroPie build. I do have a changelog here. I'll also leave a link to the changelog in the description. I'm not going to go over every single thing in this changelog because they have changed a lot. It would take me 40 minutes just to go over this page here. I want to get into a little bit of gameplay, show you the interface and how quick it works. So I'm just going to touch on a few key points here. So first up, they fixed the auto start SH so still image splash screens work properly. New short intro, full animation, and I really like the short intros. I don't like to wait for everything to boot up. It does add a little bit of time to the boot process. Updated RetroPie setup to version 4.3.9. MuPin 64 Plus standalone installed. LR Parallel N64 installed. MuPin 64 configuration tweaks. Now that's one of the main things I'm really liking here. N64 runs amazing on this board and on this build. LR Atari i800 has been installed. LR DOSBox installed. Amiiberry is installed. Updated TI-99 Sim to version 0.15. 3DO tweaks. N64 LR MuPin as default with exception for a few titles that are set to LR Parallel when identified as a more pleasurable experience. So it will automatically detect the game and either choose LR MuPin 64 or Parallel for your emulator core on N64. Install drivers for the official offered Odroid Wi-Fi adapters, and I'll leave links in the description. Wi-Fi does work if you have the correct adapter. Installed Wi-Fi setup utility, moved all ORA-based scripts to the Arena. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I'll actually touch on a little more of these when we get into the interface. But if you're interested in taking a look at this full changelog, I'll leave a link in the description. I'm also going to leave a link to the Odroid Retro Arena Facebook page and their website. The image will be available to download to the public on March 30th. I have been messing around with this image for a few days, and I gotta tell you that this is the best retro gaming operating system for the Odroid XU4 that I've ever tested. And I've pretty much tested all of them for the XU4. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and move over to one of my XU4s. I'm actually going to be using the regular XU4 with the fan. I have this installed on a 32 GB SD card. Let's move over there now. Alright guys, so here we are. Flash this to your SD card just like you would any other image. You can use Win32 Disk Imager or Etcher. I'm going to go through here. I'm actually running all of my games from a 128 GB USB flash drive. So it was really easy just to transfer everything over to that. Inside of the RetroPie menu here, there's the Arena toolbox. One of the cool changes that they did, and I think a lot of people need to take note about this, is adding a little dedicated icon over here to show you which developer made this script. So this is actually by Forrest over at Easy Hacks. Really awesome channel. You definitely need to go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description. Controller reset. If you ever just need to reset your controller configuration, you can just come in right here, click controller reset. It'll reset your controller. Next time you reboot, you'll be prompted to set up a new controller just like you would with a brand new install of Emulation Station. Next up, we have fan control by the guys over at Game Wizard. No ROMs are included with this. No downloader is included with this. He just added these scripts here. Fan control. We also have some of David Marty's scripts in here. Switch Genesis to Mega Drive or Mega Drive to Genesis. Same thing here, but with PC Engine or TurboGrafx-16. David Marty did these. RetroPie reference, David Marty. Game Wizard for the soft reboot. Game Wizard for the system info utility. Easy Hacks, again, for the toggle BGM. I'm going to leave links to both Easy Hacks and David Marty's YouTube channel down in the description. you need to go check them out. They do a lot of great stuff with RetroPie and Raspberry Pis in general. Bluetooth is working with a compatible Bluetooth dongle. The one I'm using is from Odroid. If you're interested in picking that up, or a compatible Wi-Fi dongle, I'll leave links in the description so you can get one of those. Configuration editor, ES themes, and this is compatible with all the ES themes on the ES themes menu. File manager, basic stuff that's in any RetroPie build. I'm going to swap this theme out real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. It does come pre-installed with Showcase. I did install Tronky Fran if that's your thing. I wish they would add videos to this because this would be my favorite theme if he had videos. I also installed Carbon, Card Crazy, and SCV720. Now SCV720 is my favorite at this moment. We're going to go right in here. It'll enable the SCV720 theme. So there we go. New theme. I'll swap it out one more time for you. We'll go with Card Crazy. This is by Dwayne Hurst. Really awesome theme. And it's so much smoother on the XU4. Now I know the XU4 is more expensive than the Raspberry Pi, but the performance you're getting is definitely worth it, especially with N64 and PSP. Now I'm only going to show a little clip here, but they did get Rogue Squadron working with N64. They have added Moop N64 Plus standalone and LR Parallel N64. And they've actually set up the N64 emulator to choose the best core per game. So with Rogue Squadron, it's going to be using LR Parallel, and it runs really good. I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to switch over to a clip of that. Then we'll move on to a PSP game that really struggles on the Raspberry Pi 3. Even the new Raspberry Pi 3B Plus overclocked to 1580 megahertz with a GPU overclock and a V3D overclock. It still struggles, but here we can do a lot more with PSP emulation on the Odroid XU4. Here's a clip of Star Wars Rogue Squadron running on the XU4 with this build. It is using the LR Parallel N64 core, and as you can see, it's running at full speed. The XU4 handles N64 emulation much better than the Raspberry Pi 3, so if you're really wanting N64 emulation on an SBC, the XU4 is something to definitely consider. And with all the development going on over at the Odroid Retro Arena, N64 emulation is just getting better and better on the XU4. There are tons of games that work flawlessly on this unit. Next up, we have some PSP emulation on the XU4. This is Need for Speed Pro Street. Now I know a lot of people aren't going to be playing this game, but I have recently tested this on the brand new Raspberry Pi 3B Plus with an overclock on everything, and it really struggles. Here we're at 2x resolution, no frame skip, we're getting 30 FPS. This is what it ran at on the original PSP. I want to see if we can go any higher with this resolution, so I'll just go into the settings. This is using PPSSPP. We'll go to 3x resolution. Should clean up the picture a lot. And we are still at 30 FPS. And this is with no frame skip at all. Now there are some games you might need to enable frame skip, like God of War Chains of Olympus and Killzone Liberation. Those are just two games that are really hard to run on any system. But for the most part, everything else that I've tested runs at 2 to 5x resolution depending on the game. So like Little Big Planet will run at 5x resolution. There's Family Guy, The Simpsons also at 5x. The Monster Hunter games, there's Daxter, Ratchet & Clank, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. They can all do up to 3 to 4x resolution without suffering from any frame drop at all, and that's with no frame skip. So overall, I'm really impressed with what the guys over at the Odroid Retro Arena have done with this RetroPie build here. This is version 1.1, and there's probably more coming out. They've been working on this really hard, and the performance is phenomenal. I've tested pretty much every operating system you can get for the Odroid XU4. I've had 2 of them for about a year now. In my opinion, this has to be the best. I've tested Laka, I've tested Batocera, I've tested Recalbox. This one here is spot on. It is a lot more powerful than the Raspberry Pi, but it is more expensive. But if you're really wanting to get some N64 emulation done on an ARM single board computer, this is probably the one you need to choose. I'll leave links in the description to where you can pick one of these up. I'll also leave links to Bluetooth adapters and Wi-Fi adapters that are compatible with the Odroid Retro Arena 1.1 build here. So like I mentioned, I'm really impressed with the performance on this. The guys have done a great job over there. I want to give them a big shout out. I'm super impressed to see something like this come out in this short period of time. If you want to pick one of these up, If you want to get the operating system, all links are in the description. I will be coming out with more videos testing some N64, PSP, PlayStation. If you have any requests at all, let me know in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching.